Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Emmy the Cat Lady, and we're back with another Wasteland Biographies. So you find me here in New Vegas. We are inside the tent at the Aerotech Office Park, which is just south of kind of Vegas itself, right here, just past the Grub and Gulp rest stop. So this is where we are. So we're going to talk about the Weathers family today. So Left My Heart is a side quest you can pick up in two places, one of which you're more likely to visit than the other. So you can discover this quest when you go to Cottonwood Cove to meet Caesar, and you can find 3 people locked up in a cage. That's the Weathers family, the mother and their 2 adult children, and they've been captured by the Legion to use as slaves. But you can also acquire this quest from the Weathers patriarch, Frank. Frank can be found here at the Aerotech Office Park. So I'll let him kind of introduce himself. So this is Frank Weathers here, so let's have a chat with him.
Oh, hello. What can I do for you?
Who are you?
My name's Frank Weathers. I'm a farmer, got a few hundred acres near Junktown. Well, I was a farmer. I guess I'm not much of anything now.
Okay, what do you know about the Legion?
They're cannibals, slavers, and worse.
Yep.
I hear rumors they're poised to overrun the entire Colorado River Valley, and even the army won't be enough to stop them. One of the officers here, or at Camp McCarran, might be able to tell you more.
Okay. And why did you come all the way out here?
Why does anybody? I thought I'd strike it rich at the tables, make my fortune, and never have to plow those damn fields again. I just wanted to provide for my family, and now they're gone. All gone. God forgive me.
Okay, so yep, he's lost his family. He came from Junktown, which is at this point in time part of the New California Republic, wanting to win big in the casinos so that he could not have to work the farm anymore, but unfortunately that didn't really pan out. So what happened to your family?
We were crossing the Mojave, not far from Searchlight, when a band of Caesar's Legion slavers came out of nowhere. They took my family.
Okay, yep, that's really sad. And if you've got high intelligence, which let's face it, you probably do, you can say, why didn't they take you?
God help me. I ran. I abandoned my family to those butchers. Not a day goes by I don't hate myself for that.
Okay, so you can say, well, some protector you turned out to be, or you can say, yep, they would have killed you if you fought, maybe I can help you find them.
You do that for a complete stranger? Thank you, my friend. The Army says they don't have the available manpower, as if the city is more important. From what I've gathered from NCR Rangers, they were most likely taken to Cottonwood Cove. You might start there.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye. So, yep, basically this man came with his family from Junktown. They travelled here to Vegas so that he could try his hand at making his fortune gambling and not having to work on the farm anymore. But unfortunately he failed, and then they were going to leave and head back home, but the Legion captured him and he basically ran for it, which he feels really guilty about. So that gives us the quest, Left My Heart, where we have to find this family, and he suggests starting at Cottonwood Cove. So we are going to head over there and talk to his wife and find out what happened. So in this save file, I'm currently vilified by the Legion, so I've turned combat AI off so that we can hopefully have conversations. So yep, so we can see we've got the obnoxious red filter because we're at a major player's military base, Cottonwood Cove here, and obviously the Legion aren't going to be happy about me being present, but we don't really care about that, so let's just head on down. So if you agree to rescue them, then you have to head here, and you need to get the key from a bloke called Canyon Runner. Which is possibly you. Yeah. You're Canyon Runner, aren't you? Yep. I'm gonna take his picture. let's switch to an actual weapon. Yeah, the Q35 matter modulator, that's my favourite one. So you can pickpocket them, but if the Legion are hostile to you, you don't really have much choice but to kill them. So you can buy their freedom for 300 caps, or you can use a speech check to convince Canyon Runner that they've got some kind of disease, so he'll half the price for you. And you can pay 150 caps, or you can pickpocket the key from him, or you can just kill him and take it off his body. Be aware, depending on what order you do these quests in, if you decide to do Eye for an Eye, which is a quest where you basically destroy this place by dumping the radioactive barrels, which I'll see if I can find the truck. So because of what happened at Camp Searchlight, you can kind of do the same to the Legion here. So if you look up there, there's a truck with radioactive barrels. You can open that and it all pours down in here and basically kills everybody, and that does include the Weathers family. So let's see if we can have a chat with Mrs. Weathers. Nope, that's Kenny Weathers. There's Mrs. Weathers. Hello.
Please, ma'am, take pity on us. Free us, I'm begging you.
Sure. So we can say, how were you captured?
My family was ambushed by a pack of Legion raiders near Searchlight, and Frank ran off, the gutless coward. I have no idea where he is, but at least we're free from his abuse.
So there we go. We've now got another side to this whole story, that she thinks her husband's a coward because he ran for it when the Legion attacked, but at least they're free of his abuse. So we can question her further about that.
Ever since he lost his job a few years back, he hasn't been the same. He took a switch to us for the tiniest things. We were trying to get away when the Legion showed up. I'm glad he ran off like a coward, but slavery wasn't the kind of escape I was looking for.
So, yep, we can see from that her husband has been a horrible person, and after he lost his job here, he became abusive and would, he would hit them and do horrible things. And part of that is because after he lost his job and didn't win and lost a lot of money in the casinos, he started drinking as well and has become problematic because of that. So he did end up seeking help from the followers of the apocalypse, but they threw him out at one point, and this is what triggered his family to decide to leave and go back to New California, and then he followed them. But when they neared Camp Searchlight, the Legion ambushed them. Frank ran off, and then his family were left to their fate here to become slaves for the Legion. So we are gonna see what we can do.
Thank you so much
to help these people, and that is going to involve that. So I forgot I'd taken the energy weapon explosion perk. That's quite fun, but very silly. So the goo pile that was Canyon Runner has the key. So you can pickpocket it off him, but the Legion are hostile to me in this save file, so you can't actually pickpocket somebody that's hostile. So let's open the gate, which is marked in red. So again, the Legion would be kind of angry about that if they were, able to be aggressive. But so there we go.
When will we be free?
So Frank sent me to free you.
That man knows where we are. Just when I didn't think it could get any worse. At least he's too much of a coward to come after us himself. What if he ended up in this pen with us?
So you can say, yeah, we paid for your release. So you can say that, and she's like, oh no, I don't really want him to know where we are. So let me deactivate the collar.
If there's any chance you can free us, it's worth the risk.
Okay, so yeah, you can have a high explosive skill, you can deactivate the collar, or you can say, trust me, your troubles are over, and you can set off the explosive. But if you can't
Anything
do that...
that gets us out of here, please. When will we be free?
Here's the key.
Thank you. I don't think we'll ever be able to repay you, but we'll do our best one day, once I found a place to settle.
Okay, so yep, they'll all run off, and they'll kind of, yeah, they'll leave. But we now have a decision to make when it comes to dealing with Frank Weathers. So if we look at our quest, so we've freed them from slavery, so we need to go back to Frank. So I'm going to have to head off until I can find a spot where I'm away from enemies so that I can fast travel. And then we can go back to Frank. So at this point we do have a decision to make. And that decision is, do we tell Frank where his family are? Or do we not tell him and tell him that they don't want anything to do with him anymore? So I've dropped a save before we speak to Frank, because there's a couple of different things that you can do. So I can do this and I can show you all the possible outcomes. Oh, there it is. Right, wake up.
Can you believe they tried killing our president? Have you found my family yet?
So about your family.
Yes. Have you found them?
Yes, they're alive.
They are? Oh my God, thank you. Thank you so much. But wait, where are they?
So you can say, oh, they're going to the old Mormon fort in Freeside.
Crap. Those goody-goodies kicked me out of there once already. No way I'm getting in. Even if I could get in, rehab is for chumps. Well, thanks for doing what you could. Guess I'll get a fresh start and keep an eye out in case they leave the fort.
Okay, so that's one thing that you can say, oh, this is where they were going, and he's like, nope, nothing to do with the followers of the apocalypse, because rehab is for chumps, which, you know, does kind of hint that he's not really that keen on the idea of trying to get sober. So that's quite a sad one, but we'll go back to the autosave. And we'll take a different path. Right, Frank, wake up.
Hey.
Hi.
Have you found my family yet?
So, about your family.
Yes. Have you found them?
Yep, they're alive.
They are? Oh my God, thank you. Thank you so much.
50 caps, which feels a bit cheap for that, to be honest. So then you can say, you can confront them in a more aggressive way and say, why would I tell an abusive bastard like you?
What? Why won't you tell me? Did my wife put you up to this? What lies did she tell you?
So there he's denying it, and he's saying, what lies did she tell you? Which is a common tactic when abusive people are called out for their abuses, that they'll often say that their victims are lying. We know that. So speech 35, you're a slimy, yellow-bellied bastard, you don't deserve a family.
You're right. I've been a mean son of a bitch the past couple years. What am I supposed to do? I've got no money left, and now my family has abandoned me.
So you can then keep pushing this angle and say, think about it, what do you have to live for?
You're right. I've got nothing left. I'll never see my kids grow up, but they're better off without me.
So, yep, you can say, listen, you've done some horrible things, you don't really deserve to have your family back, and you can basically talk him into committing suicide, although he does have a impressive levitating eyeball there. So yeah, so you can push him to say, listen, you've done horrible things to your family, you're worth nothing, there's no point in you continuing, which is kind of harsh, but you know, that's the way the Wasteland tends to go. So that's the second option. And then the third option, which is kind of the best outcome for everybody. So
things are getting stranger every day.
Yep, I know.
Have you found my family yet?
It's a bit like Groundhog Day here. So about your family.
Yes. Have you found them?
I have. They're fine.
Oh my God, thank you. Thank you so much. But wait, where are they?
So speech 35. the quest is completed, but you can say your family doesn't want you around, you need to clean up, Frank, so you're telling him you need to sort your shit out.
You're right.
And you get karma for that one.
Bitch the past couple years. It won't be easy, but I'll try going sober. Maybe then my family will want me back. Thank you for doing what you can. I won't let this go to waste.
Yep, so we can do that, and that pushes him to, despite his rehab is for chumps comment, that's kind of the push that he needs to maybe think, well, actually, I've lost a lot because of this. Maybe I need to actually sort myself out and get sober and things. So he resolves to do that, and then maybe his family will take him back if he can prove that he's sorted himself out. So it's an interesting thing because, it can be quick to anger and quick to jump to denial when you say you're abusive. He's saying, oh, what lies did my wife tell you, which is a very common thing to see, and that he's not really that receptive to the idea of rehab and getting sober, but you can push him with a speech check, convince him that he has to get help and get himself sober. And the thing about it is that, what he's done to his family is wrong. There's no excuse for it at all. But people that struggle with addictions like gambling, like drugs, like alcohol, oftentimes this is a symptom of a deeper problem in some fashion. And certainly I would always advocate for treatment over punishment. I think people that struggle with these things, they do need some kind of support and some kind of help, and potentially there's still a life that could be salvageable, that is healthy and that's better for them. But there's only so much help that people can offer someone in that situation, because if the person refuses to accept the help or acknowledge that they have a problem, nothing's going to improve, and there's nothing you can do if they're not willing to put in the work and to accept they're having a problem and to kind of address that and do the work and then accept the support that they need. And sometimes it does take something major, like their spouse leaving them or their children going no contact, to push them to take that first step and say, okay, maybe it is me that's the problem, maybe I need to do something about it. So we can have a bit of empathy for Frank here, even though his actions are not good. We can condemn his actions, that there's no reason or excuse that anyone can give for abusing someone, particularly people that are close to them, like their spouse, like their children. There's no way that anybody can make excuses for that, but we can have a bit of empathy that he's obviously struggling with some deeper problems and, mental health issues and things like that. So, we can agree that he doesn't really have the right to know where his family went until he sorts himself out. And that's definitely, I think, that approach and saying, look, your family don't want anything to do with you. You need to clean up your act. You need to sort yourself out. I think that's the best option for everybody, because his family gets a clean break away from him and his abuse, and he's been pushed to maybe do something to try and make things better for himself and to make up for what he's done. So we need to acknowledge the harm that he's done and that he needs to take responsibility for his choices and for his actions. But we need to also understand that there's maybe a deeper reason for all this, and the struggles with alcohol and the struggles with addiction and gambling. It all comes from the same place, and it is often an unhealthy coping mechanism to start with, and then it just becomes a bigger and bigger problem in its own right. So yeah, he's kind of learned that lesson here, and I say that you do have the different options to deal with him. And, I think we can all agree that any kind of abuse in a relationship is always a bad, and no matter what the reasons behind it might be, people that do that, they need to take responsibility for what they've done, and that's the only way that they can make things better for themselves and for the people around them. So that is Frank Weathers and the Weathers family. So you can if you head to... Where's Freeside? Freeside. Freeside. Oh, how about that? Hello.
I can't ever thank you enough for saving me and mine. We're free now.
Where's your kids? So yeah, you can travel back to Freeside and you'll find them at the Old Mormon Fort, although I think we happened to arrive just at the same time as Mrs. Weathers did. So we'll follow her over there. It takes care of that nonsense. So here we go, the Old Mormon Fort. You can see the followers of the Apocalypse flag.
What?
And the running child. Yeah. There we go. I don't know where Kenny and Sammy are, but...
I can't ever thank you enough for saving me and mine. We're free now.
Yeah. But yeah, so you can come back and find them here, and obviously she's very grateful for the help in saving her and her family from the Legion slavery. So yeah, this is probably the kind of best ending for everybody, because they're all safe and happy, and Frank is hopefully going to go and sort his shit out and try and learn how to be a better person. So, you know, win-win for everybody. Yeah, an interesting little story, and I think the thing about it is that, you know, most people probably come across that story when they go to Cottonwood Cove, because generally on the main plot you're going to end up in Cottonwood Cove at some point, because you're going to go there to sail over to the fort to meet Caesar. So you would come across the Weathers family in the cage and then maybe decide to help them out in some way while you're there. But you get a lot more context if you speak to Frank first. I mean, Aerotech Office Park, there's a couple other quests that kind of send you in that direction as well, so you could stumble across it, but I think a lot of players might not know that Frank Weathers is there, and that you can start the quest by speaking to him, and you get a bit more information about them and a bit more context for the story, that, you know, he wants to find his family, but they don't really want to see him again because of how he's treated them after what's likely been a kind of depression from losing his job and everything like that. So you know, it's
just getting jumpy, I guess.
it's another Freeside thug. Get rid of them. But yeah, it's an interesting little story, and, you know, again, you're dealing with some kind of moral choices as well, deciding how you deal with Frank, whether you want to actually tell him, oh yeah, this is where your family went, or whether you say, no, you don't deserve to know, and then you can push him to just end it all, or you can push him to say, look, you need to sort this out, you need to get sober, and then maybe your family might consider forgiving you, but that's on them to decide that. But pushing him to say, look, you need to sort yourself out, and he does kind of accept that. So he obviously still cares about his family, and you can have a bit of empathy with him that he's obviously had a tough time of it, but his unhealthy coping mechanisms have led to him being a major problem for his family and led to abuse, which, as I said, there's no excuse. It constitutes potentially a reason why things have gone that way, but that doesn't mean that what he's done is excusable or justifiable. You know, people doing the wrong thing for the wrong reasons is always problematic, and I think that's something that is, you know, potentially topical right now, is that, you know, there's certain things that people do that no matter what their reason is, no matter what their excuse is, it's still going to be wrong. And this is one of those situations that, you know, people can make excuses and say, oh, well, you know, this happened and that happened and that's why. but doing horrendous things like abusing people, you can't excuse it. Explanations only do so much, but there's still no excuse for being that way. So an interesting one there, and it might be one that you've not come across in your own playthroughs. So let me know what you think. What did you decide, if you've done this quest yourself, what did you decide to do with Frank? How did you approach it? What are your thoughts on the kind of themes and the issues that come up in this little story? Let me know in the comments, and subscribe if you want to see more. Come Thursday, we've got some new and interesting series, hopefully something that you'll enjoy. And I do also have some plans, and I'm working on putting together some kind of really long form video essay style videos that are gonna, obviously they'll take a lot longer to make, so they're not gonna come out quite as frequently, but covering some very interesting topics, particularly one that I think is going to be really fun to dig into, which is the concept of immortality and Fallout, and some of the different ways that people have managed to live much longer past their normal lifespan in this universe, and how we've got different people that were alive before the bombs fell, and what's happened there. So I think that one's going to be very interesting. So again, if you're interested in that kind of a thing, hit subscribe so that you know when I upload next, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.